Hello, everyone. I am thrilled that you are here today to discuss something that is not only essential, but transformative. And it's all about equipping our children with sound financial habits from a young age. Now, imagine for just a minute. Imagine if we could give our kids the tools to manage money wisely before they even start managing their own finances. Well, we're going to explore just how to do that. Focus on the topic on how to raise wealth conscious kids. And before we dive in, I want to make sure we're on the same page because when I reference raising wealth conscious kids, I'm not talking about greed. I am not talking about feeding our kids a philosophy where everything is about money. Instead, I want us to be proactive. I want us to be informed and really strategic about how we can build our kids so that they can have financial stability, financial security, financial independence. And we're planting these seeds today so that we can leave them a playbook on how they can then take these financial foundations to build a legacy and long lasting wealth. So now that we're all on the same page when it comes to raising wealth conscious kids, if we just look at the data, right? We just take a look at the data, we'll then start to understand why this is so important. There was a study done by some behavior experts at Cambridge University where it tells us that our kids' money habits are largely set by age 7. Now, that just blows my mind. When we fast forward as they get older, I found another shocking statistic. And it says only 26% of 13 to 21-year-olds say that their parents taught them how to manage money. Now, if we had a room full of hundreds of teens or hundreds of teens and young adults, that's one out of every four where there's a money conversation being happening. And that leaves the three to really just figure it out on their own. And so that's where I step in. That's why the Master Playbook exists. If this is your first time interacting with me, my name is Holly Reed, and you're in great hands. I am the CEO of the Master Playbook, where we are on a mission to equip the next generation to master money and to empower parents just like you to give your kids a financial head start. And so we achieve our mission primarily through our signature money camps for kids and teens. We host curated programs for college students and for parents, and through our growing library of financial literacy resources. And so, in the work that I do every day, I encourage parents, I talk to kids all the time about how can we close this financial education gap and really start to close the financial wealth gap that is so prevalent across our nation. And so it's really going to start with three things, right? So when I talk about raising wealth conscious kids, we have to normalize money conversations. That's step one. Number two, we have to make money lessons stick. And number three, it's all about giving our kids the appropriate experience and exposure, however, wherever they are in life, right? No matter their age, giving them that exposure and that experience. So let's jump right into it. Number one, we talked about normalizing money conversations. And what that looks like, that means we have to start the money conversations. As parents, we are our kids' first financial advisors. And so we have to break the silence and start incorporating money talks into our everyday conversations with our kids and teens. And you are not alone if you are a parent and you feel like you don't know where to start, or maybe you're someone who is intimidated by finances because you're still trying to get your own personal financial life pulled together. Well, the good news is is that you don't need a PhD to talk to your kids about money, right? In fact, all you need to do is to talk about the things that you know. Talk about your experiences. Talk about the things that you've learned. And then whatever you're missing, whatever you aren't familiar with or don't feel comfortable speaking on, you can use this as an opportunity to learn right alongside your kids and your teenagers. So, the reason sparking these money conversations is so important is because there are so many misconceptions about money that you can help resolve and help close those gaps just by starting to ask some questions, just by understanding what are the things that they are missing, where are the gaps for them. So I'm not going to leave you hanging. I actually have a free resource that I'm going to share with you. It's a resource I created called Money Talks. And these are all conversations to start money conversations with your kids and teens. And what I love about this resource is that when it's used, you will quickly see where your kids' misunderstandings may be, right? Where there might be some myths or some gaps that you can help them fill in just by starting these conversations. Now, what this doesn't look like, or what I don't recommend, is I don't recommend these money conversations turning into 2-hour lecture series. No, let me tell you, it's just going to go in one ear and out the other, and we don't want that. But what it could look like is it could be an opportunity for you as the parent to become vulnerable, right? To share a mistake that you made as it relates to money, right? To, talk about what the circumstances were. Maybe you were going through a difficult time, or maybe you just didn't know, but sharing that information with them, but more importantly, highlighting what is the lesson that you learned so you can pass that on to them, right? Another thing with starting money conversations is you as a parent have to set expectations. And what I mean by that is I get a lot of parents whose kids receive money as a birthday gift, receive money from friends or family during a celebration, or they start working their very first job, but their kids are just spending the money frivolously. And it's all because parents, we didn't take the opportunity to set expectations about what we want our kids to do with that money. And so this is where I want you to lean in a little bit, right? Yes, it's their money. Yes, they've earned it. Yes, somebody has gifted them, but we are still here to provide guidance, right? To provide instruction. And you can always start with the 3 S's. And those 3 S's are save some, spend some, and share some, right? Just based on your family values, you can incorporate how you want your child to prioritize their money, how you want them to prioritize or allocate their spending. But you can always start with save, spend, and share just to give them some guidelines to start practicing, right? To start getting in a routine of what they need to do, how they need to give every dollar a job. Okay. It's a great opportunity. And it's really an easy thing that you can start doing immediately. Immediately. All right. The second thing I would recommend, we have to start making money lessons stick. Make money lessons stick. And so when I say make money lessons stick, we have to start creating learning experiences that stick with our kids for days, for months, and even years. And this is how it works. On these sticky notes, I've placed the 5 money habits every child should master, right? And so how our kids' brains work. We may tell them something to do, but we actually have to create the opportunities for them to do it and then do it around something that they really care about. So let's dive into this just a little bit. In order to make money lessons stick, you have to tie the money lessons to the things that they care about most. So, whatever it is for your child, What are the things that they are passionate about? What are the things that they are interested in, right? Think about the sports that they play, the extracurricular activities that they participate in, the amount of time they spend on a video game and they're asking you for money to get to the next level. These are all opportunities to tie in these money lessons that I'm talking about here. Another great opportunity is that, as our kids mature and grow, there are so many things that are like milestones for them, right? So turning age 12 to age 13, like becoming a teenager, you can use that to be like a rites of passage where now that you're 13, now that you're a teenager, now it's appropriate for you to take on more responsibility. Now it's appropriate for you to learn more about money management and to manage your money this way. Think about the Sweet 16s. Those tend to be big moments in life, memorable moments, or, so significant birthdays, or they're planning to go to their first prom or dance at school, or maybe they're just learning about to get their learner's permit to drive a car, right? Whatever it is, these are all opportunities to build in money lessons that they will remember because it's tied to something that they care about most, right? And so there's a technique that a lot of educators use. It's the tell, show, and do technique. The tell, where you're explaining how it works, why it works. You might even demonstrate the money lesson for them. But the do part is the key. It is the critical piece in all of this, that you have to allow them to practice and you have to allow them to fail as well. But this is where it's going to require some discipline, some patience, right? And more important, some consistency. Like most things that we teach our kids, it's going to require some repetition. This is not a one and done conversation. It's not a one and done experiment. This is something that you're going to have to visit frequently so that it actually sticks and holds for when they are actually out on their own. They can bring it to their remembrance. And so think about creating some routines around, money, reviewing bank accounts with your kids, reviewing their school lunch accounts, right? If you are one of those parents where the kids, where you put money on the school account so that the child can just swipe it in order to get their lunch, whatever it is, these are all opportunities for us to review money habits, review money choices, and then learn something from it all. Okay. The third step in all of this is we have to give our kids the appropriate exposure and experience for their age, wherever they are. Now, quick question. How many helicopter parents do I have joining me today? Don't be shy. Raise your hand. I know you're out there. So when I'm referring to helicopter parenting, this is a parent that has a very maybe overprotective style of parenting. Maybe they're very involved in every decision that their child is making. But listen, I know you only have the best intentions, but as parents, it's important to find ways to expose your kids to real life problems, to real life consequences, to real life experiences so that they have a chance to find their own way, right? And so just if you think about it for yourself, many of the lessons we've learned in life have come from our own missed opportunities, have come from our own mistakes or failures. And so, just like this slide says, mistakes are often the best teacher. And it is so true. So sometimes there are so many different ways that we can achieve the same goal that we have to release the reins just a little bit, right? To allow our kids to make their own choices, to make their own decisions, and then face those consequences, right? Whether they're positive or negative. But we've got to pull back and make sure that we give those experiences to them. And so I'm going to give you a brief example. I posted this statistic on TikTok probably about a year ago at this point. And the statistic says 32% of teens can't identify the difference between a credit card and a debit card. And one of the many responses on this particular one says, I'm not shocked. At 18, I went stupid over my first credit card. I didn't realize you got to pay it back. No one taught me. And so while this was a mistake, work dealing with credit cards is often teaches our kids lots of lessons, but it's not for the right reasons, right? Often they just aren't exposed. They just aren't taught these things before they are, pushed into using credit the way that our culture encourages us to use credit for everything. And so I just want to encourage you to allow your kids to make their own choices. Allow your kids to get some practice. Let them learn and experience money management from different people. You as the parent should be the first guidance, right? But there are other experts like me and many others who are participating in this summit that can give some great advice and some really specific examples on how we can teach our kids how to practice and become masters of these healthy money habits. And so I invite you, right, to take advantage of this free resource. I am offering the Money Talks resource where it is conversation prompts for you to start money conversations in your home. We've got to normalize money conversations, right? We've got to make money lessons sticky. And then, thirdly, and more importantly, we've got to give our kids the appropriate experience and exposure so that they can excel, so that they can learn to think critically, so that they can gain confidence in the choices that they're making. And so, with this resource, I think it's a great opportunity for you to understand what they know, what they don't know, so that you can help them fill in the gaps. So, I trust you found this information helpful today. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, let's definitely stay connected. I can be found at themasterplaybook.com and across all social media platforms at The Master Playbook. I've enjoyed spending this time with you today, and I look forward to us together collectively raising wealthy, conscious kids.